This man has a singular advantage over other men. Ben Richards is immune to every known disease, including old age. Periodic transfusions of his blood can give other men a second, a third lifetime, perhaps more.
Find Ben Richards.
The effects of a transfusion are only temporary. I must therefore control Ben Richards' life permanently.
He's the most valuable man in the world, but he's no good to me dead.
His brother may have the same kind of blood. We've got to find him before Richards does.
If you had $1 million blood, where would you hide?
I didn't ask for this. I was a test driver. I liked the job. One day the doctor told me I had some kind of special blood. I don't understand it. But I know this. Everything they're offering, I don't want. I gotta live free.
Ben Richards will live longer than anyone has ever lived. But a transfusion to the wrong man could make him a prisoner for all time. And so he runs from the hunters, the human hounds who would cage him.
You're looking at the most valuable man in the world, and he's the man you're after. We caught him once, so he won't hesitate to risk his life to avoid being caught again. He's desperate. You have been hired because you don't ask questions. You are not concerned with why we want Ben Richards. You're being well paid. In addition, there is a further incentive. To the man or men who find Ben Richards, there is a bonus, $1,000 a week for life. His entire life story is contained in the portfolios before you now. One of the details you will learn is that Richards and his brother spent their early years in an orphanage. We know that Richards himself was at the orphanage less than 18 hours ago trying to find his brother. So we have an advantage for the moment, gentlemen. He knows that we're behind him. He does not know how close. Before I go on, let me impress upon each and every one of you that Ben Richards, dead or dying, is worthless. If you must use force, and in all likelihood you will have to, this is your weapon, a dart gun. With darts filled with one of the most powerful and quick-acting tranquilizers ever developed. Now to continue. We know that Richards ran away from the orphanage with his brother while they were still quite young. We also know that they found someone else to live with in an area close by. That's one thing Richards knows that we don't. The name of the person or persons who took him and his brother in. I'm certain that he's heading back there now. Remember, he must have strong emotional ties with that place. And also remember, emotions are every man's worst enemy. Ben Richards is no exception. And I want Ben Richards.
work here once?
Yeah, in a way. Joe Carver around.
You know him well?
Yeah?
Well, this is Friday night, so you know what he's doing.
The name of the game is 7-card stud.
Just when I begin to win, he changes the game.
Oh, that's the point.
Hey, man, come on. Let me see. Give me something this time.
8, 10,
You
deuce,
spare this
and a
douche.
queen. The queen bet 2.
Okay.
I'm getting a headache.
Drop by the store. I'll give you some acetylsalicylic acid.
What's that?
Aspirin, dummy.
You just forget the aspirin and pray that I got a pat full house.
I'll pray, but what's in it for me?
My ever-loving friendship.
That I got already. You still charge me too much for tune-ups.
Oh, you get it back in coals. 2 10s bet. Hey, don't you ever take off that jacket?
Why should I? Save on cleaning bills. Where do I go anyway?
All right, down and dirty. Who is it?
Just me and my brother, mister. We got off the bus back there and we're hungry. Do most any kind of work to eat.
Hey, Bill, son of a gun. hey. You guys know Ben?
Sure.
Bill, how are you? Nice seeing you.
Oh, all except you, Al. This is Ben Richards.
Hi,
I
nice
took him
meeting
in
you.
when he was nothing but a pup. Taught him everything I know about borders, and then he ran off to the big city.
Could I talk to you a minute, Joe?
Oh, come on and sit here, and the game will be over in about 15 minutes. Have a beer.
Well, I'd like to talk to you right now.
All right, deal me up.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Look, I don't see why this couldn't have waited.
Joe, I don't have much time.
Well, you mean you're not staying?
No, my suitcase is down at the bus depot.
The bus? You came in on the bus?
That's right, and there's one leaving in an hour, and I have to be on it.
Look,
I need some information, Joe.
Hold a minute, Ben. Well, you know, what's going on with you?
Like I said, I don't have much time. There's some people after me.
The police?
No, but it's too hard to explain. I'm looking for my brother. Now, have you seen or heard from him lately?
Look, slow down, son. I thought this time when you come to visit, you'd have that little girl with you that you've been writing to me about. Now you just run right in here,
Joe,
run
please,
right out there.
Joe, please. Have you seen or heard from him lately?
I haven't seen him since you were kids. Look, I get cards and...
Any lately?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, 6, 8 months ago. I think I still got it in the garage.
Can I see it?
Sure. Hey, what are you gonna do? Run right in and run right out again?
I have to.
Hey, when will you be back?
As soon as I can.
Look, Carol will be coming in from the university tomorrow. If I let you go, she's gonna kill me. Now, what am I gonna tell her?
Well, tell her I'll see her next trip.
I can't talk you into staying? Well, I'll walk you to the depot, huh?
Joe, go back to your poker game. Look, I like to hang around, stay and see Carol, sit around and talk for a while, but I can't. Something's happened to me. Something that's too hard for me to explain. Everything's different now. Remember that girl I told you about?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have her anymore. I don't have a job. Pretty soon there are gonna be a couple of guys here looking for me.
Well, who's gonna be looking for you?
The less you know, Joe, the better it'll be for you.
Well, you come back as soon as you can, here.
As soon as I can.
And here it is, 1 a.m. Time for the world and local news, which you get first and fast on KTMS. First, a local 23-year-old man, Stephen Atkins, is in critical condition at Middale Hospital. The police have arrested Joe Carver, owner of a gas station on Pinecrest Road, for the alleged assault. Up to this moment, Carver has remained silent, and there were apparently no witnesses to the incident.
You thought I was the Fuzz or Pig or whatever name they
Do I
got
get
now.
to see him?
Sonny boy, all I know about you is your name's Ben Richards, and you give my deputy a statement last night. I got a prisoner in there, and he ain't only a prisoner, he's a good friend of mine. So before I let you or anybody else in to see him, I want to make sure who you are and what you want. You get me?
Well, I'm a friend of his, too. I lived with him when I was a kid.
Ben Richards? Wait a minute. You a race car driver?
Test.
Man, you know what? I ought to... Yeah, I've heard Joe talk about you. Why didn't you tell me who you was in the first place?
Well, why are you still holding him?
Yeah, he's charged with assault until his lawyer shows up to get him out. Yeah.
Didn't you read my statement? I told you, I saw Steve and this other kid.
Parked outside of Joe's gas station. I know. But we only got your word there was somebody else there. Besides, what does it prove?
Well, they were waiting for him to close up. Then they probably going to go in and rob him.
You don't know that.
Then what were they doing out there? Why were they waiting for him?
I don't know. I won't know till Joe tells me. Until that boy in the hospital wakes up. If he wakes up.
Didn't Joe say anything?
No. But there's something wrong. I can smell it. That boy, Steve, just come in from the university. He's a good kid, president of his class, but who knows what these kids today are going to do?
Well, what about that other kid?
Oh, all we have is your description. I hope Joe will talk to you. He won't to me or anybody else. Try to reason with him. The charge is assault right now, but the report I got from the hospital, if Joe won't even try to show just cause, odds are it's going to turn into something a lot worse. You go on in by yourself.
Thought you were gone.
I heard about it at the bus depot. I stayed at the house last night.
It's cheaper than a hotel. No need for you to stick around.
Well, you really must be mad at me.
Oh, not in the least. When was the last time you came to visit? 63? No, 64. Sarah's funeral. I haven't seen you for almost over 6 years, and you don't have time to stop and have a beer.
Sheriff said you're in a lot of trouble.
Don't worry about it. My lawyer will be here any minute, and I'll be out.
Why not? Why can't I talk to him?
I told you I just don't like it.
Well, you say he won't tell you anything. I tell you he's a friend of mine. He'll talk to me. Now let me in there. I just want to talk to him, I said.
Joe. Joe, what in God's name happened? Steve. He's pretty bad, Joe. He may not make it. They were afraid of a blood clot in the brain. Joe, what happened? What'd he do? I know Steve can be pretty wild sometimes. But he must have done something awful bad to make you mad enough to do what you did. What did he do to make you want to kill him?
That's the way you got it figured. I did it on purpose.
All I know is that my boy's over there in the hospital fighting for his life. Joe, what'd he do? Did he try to steal from you, Joe? Did he try to play some nasty trick on you? What was it, Joe? You can tell me what happened. Why did you try to kill him?
You didn't come here to find out what happened, Roy. You're telling me what happened. You think you know.
No, Joe, all I know is that my boy's in that hospital dying. And I know he's there because of you. Now, what did you do? What happened? No matter what you tell me he did, nothing can change what you did. I tell you this, Joe. If my boy dies, I'm going to kill you. All right.
What are you hanging around for? You say you had to get out of town.
Last night when I left the station, I saw Steve and this other kid waiting. Now, what were they waiting for, Joe?
You were going to take a bus. Go on and take it. There's nothing you can do.
Yes, there is. You don't have to believe me. Just call this number and talk to Dr. Pierce.
You'll forgive me if I tell you what you're saying is pretty far out.
But it's the truth. If anything can save that boy's life, a transfusion for me can do it. It's happened before. Now, you say you know Dr. Pierce, his reputation. Well, call him, and he'll tell you everything you have to know.
You realize your blood may not match the blood of...
I'm type O negative. Universal donor. Will you call him? There's probably a tap on his line, so don't mention my name.
Dr. Pierce's office.
Nurse, this is...
Hello, this is Dr. Pierce's office. Hello? Hello? Hello, who is this, please?
Is Dr. Pierce in? This is Ben Richards.
He's not in, Mr. Richards. May I have him call you?
It's an emergency. Is there any place I can get a hold of him?
No, sir. He's in transit at the moment. I expect him to call in soon.
Could you have him call Dr. Arliss at area code 809-724-7260? And tell him it's about an emergency blood transfusion. You can tell Dr. Arliss what he has to know.
I'll tell him, sir.
You have a blood bank here. I'll donate, and you can run your tests. That way you'll be ready when Dr. Pierce calls.
Stevie, please try to wake up, honey. Honey. The doctor says if you wake up even for a minute, it'll be a good sign. Honey, Steve?
Mrs. Atkins.
I think he looks a lot better, don't you, Roy?
Mrs. Atkins, Steve can't hear you. You've been here all night. Why not take a little rest? I'll be here, and I'll call you if there's any change.
Okay, well, maybe I will have a cup of coffee. Listen, you won't leave him alone, will you?
Dr. Robert Halder. Dr. Robert Halder.
Miss Atkins? Boy. Steve any better?
No, Ben. Steve isn't any better.
Well, I might be able to help. Miss Atkins, please. I've just given up.
I want to ask you something. You've been like a son to Joe. Did he say anything? Anything at all to you? Oh. He hasn't said anything to Roy either. Roy's a good friend. Plays poker with him. Poor widower, all alone. Comes over for dinner twice a week. Oh, that reminds me. He's due for dinner tonight. What do you cook for a murderer? Listen, you want to help? I'll tell you what you can do. You go to Joe, and you find out from him why he did it, and then you come back here and you tell me. Maybe after that I'll listen to you.
Miss Atkins, please.
You heard what my wife said. I'll add this to it. When you see Joe, you tell him that when he gets out of jail, I'm coming looking for him. You tell him that for me.
Dr. Morris Sloman. Dr. Morris Sloman. Dr. Pierce's office.
Nurse, this is...
Hello, this is Dr. Pierce's
There.
office.
Did you hear that? That pause just before he said, "This is Ben Richards."
Hello, who is this, please?
He knew we were listening, and just for a moment, he wanted to hang up the phone and run.
Maybe he did.
No. No, he's involved in something. Somebody important to him needs help, so he's staying where he is. Let that be a lesson to you, John. Never let your emotions take precedence over your intellect. Now, the chances are 99 to 100 that Richards will still be there. And then, my friend, we'll have him.
In jail? Dad's in jail?
He's out on bail now, but he's in trouble. He got in a fight with his kid, and the kid's in the hospital. You might know him. His name is Steve Atkins.
Steve? You're sure it was Steve?
Yeah, I just came from the hospital.
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
What's wrong, Carol?
Oh, Ben. No, no. I've got to go. What have you done?
Whatever I did, I didn't want this to happen. You have to believe that. You're not going, Carol.
Dad, let go.
Carol!
Let go! Let go! You taught me that people who hit other people and who hurt other people are ignorant and bad. And now you've hit me and you've hurt Steve. What kind of a man are you?
What happened between you and Steve?
Look, stare at this, Ben.
I can't stay out of it. Outside of my brother, it's the only family I've ever had. And outside of you, he's the only father I ever had. We're running out of time, Joe. I've got to get back to the hospital. When I left you last night, I saw Steve and this other boy parked outside the station. Now, what they want, did they want to rob it or something?
No.
All right, then. Steve wanted to see you about something. Something that made you mad. Mad enough for you to hit him. Why?
Look, I didn't hit him. Oh, I wanted to, all right, but I didn't. The boy you saw Steve with last night must have drove him in from the school and then took off. Steve came in by himself. He was smiling. He couldn't wait to tell me what he had to tell me about him and Carol. A few years ago, the two of them dated for a while. Steve's father didn't like it, and neither did I. And I told him to cool it. I thought they did. So he came in to tell me that he and Carol was talking about getting married.
What did you say?
I got mad. He wanted to know why was I getting so mad. I told him that was my business. And I told him I wanted him to stay away from her. That's when he called me an Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom. He was running around in diapers when I was fighting for the rights of the black man. When I was trying to get the brothers to sign up for voting. You know that poker game you saw me in last night? It's been going on ever since I've been in this town, almost 40 years ago. And up to 15 years ago, I never played in that game. I used to say to myself, I sure wish they'd asked me into that game. I sure wish they would. Then one day they did. Just like that, Roy Atkins said to me, he said, you play poker? I said, yes. He said, the next game will be at my place. Why don't you come on? I said, sure. And I went. And Ben, I loved it. And they didn't ask me in because I was an Uncle Tom. They asked me in because I'm me. Those guys became my friends. And I didn't knuckle under to get them.
Maybe Steve thought you were knuckling under to keep them.
It's not so.
Maybe Steve was trying to say that if he and Carol got married, you'd be afraid your friends wouldn't approve. Be afraid you'd lose them.
I don't want Carol marrying a white boy.
Any white boy?
Any white boy. Including you.
You know, it's funny. I always thought you took me in because you liked me.
I did.
Or you do it to impress your white friends?
No.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
I didn't care what you were. I didn't see white. I didn't see black. I took you in because you were a good kid. You had something shining out of your eyes. Look, I liked you. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's why I got mad. Maybe you said the truth. That I am afraid of losing my friends. I'm getting on in years. Sarah's gone. Carol's almost on her own. If I lose my friends, what have I got left? Yeah. When he called me that name, I really got mad. I told him I didn't want him in my place, and I shoved him. He went back a couple of feet, and he slipped in a puddle of oil. And he fell and hit his head on the edge of a metal cage. I thought he was dead.
Why don't you come to the hospital with me?
You go on, son. I want to be by myself for a little while. I do some thinking. Tell Roy I'll be along soon.
Dr. John Bradville. Dr. John Bradville.
How is he?
Ben, what if he dies?
Take it easy. Where's his mom and dad?
I guess they're in with the doctor.
If we could operate, maybe there'd be some chance, but we can't. The only thing we can do is try to prevent internal clotting. We've shot him full of anticoagulants.
You haven't given Steve the transfusion yet?
No.
Well, has Dr. Pierce called?
Not yet.
Wait a minute. Joe wanted...
You know, it's amazing. Every compatibility test we ran on your blood with 4 different types yielded positive results. I've never seen anything like it. There wasn't an instance that wasn't acceptable. Not even to Steve.
Then why don't you give it to him?
Because if I did, Mr. Richards, I'd be violating a very sound medical principle. Never to give a patient a blood type that's different from his own. Unless there's no alternative.
Then what alternative do you have?
Under any consideration, I couldn't do it without the consent of...
Mrs. Atkins. I know how you feel about Joe right now. I know how you feel about me. But you have to believe me. I want to help Steve more than anything else in the world. Can you believe that?
Yeah, sure.
I've given a pint of blood. There's a good chance that it can help save Steve's life.
What would you do if you were me?
I don't know. Cursory test we ran on his blood shows it to have extraordinary properties. But I'd have to make more tests.
No, right now! Steve doesn't have any more time for tests. Please, please believe me.
You do what he says.
This is Dr. Arliss. Give me the blood bank.
Mr. Atkins, wait! Wait!
Carol!
Ben, it's Mr. Atkins. I think he's gone crazy. I tried to talk to him and he wouldn't listen to me. He said that he's going to get a gun and he's going after Dad.
Don't worry, I'll catch him.
Hey, Atkins!
let me make this phone call. Let go of me! Let go of me!
Don't bother, Harry. Don't bother. He'll let go himself in a second.
Joe, answer the phone.
Always making foolish telephone calls, aren't we, Ben?
Joe?
You shouldn't have made that call to Pierce, and you knew it, but your emotions ran away with you. Emotions are so treacherous, Ben. Do you know that animals rarely indulge in emotions? That's why it's so difficult for most men to hunt them successfully. But I expected so much more of you, Ben. Into the car. That drug should have kept him out for 15 minutes. He's barely been out for 3. Unbelievable.
Joe, you've got to get out of there. Joe, you've got to get...
Take it easy, Ben. Take it easy.
You got to turn this car around and go back.
Do we now?
Listen, a man's life's in danger. I've got to warn him.
Step on it, Harry.
Look, if you go back, I give you my word, I won't try and get away. I just want to warn the man.
Sorry, Ben.
Have you ever done anything decent in your life?
I subscribed to the bond of the month at the bank. Interesting, I keep calling you Ben. I'm not usually so informal at such short notice. I thought our relationship was going to be a lengthy, fascinating chess game with the whole world as a chessboard. Oh, well. You'd have been caught in the end, Ben. Each day, the net would have got bigger, the mesh finer.
Car keys, you idiot! Move!
I was on my way to the hospital. I've been here for I don't know how long, trying to get up courage to do it. To find out how Stevie is. But I was afraid to.
Well, I can tell you that. He's probably dead by now. Why did you do it, Joe? Why did you beat up on him?
I didn't. God knows I'm to blame for what happened, but I didn't hit him. He said something to me, and I pushed him.
You pushed him. I don't believe you. I don't believe a thing you say. I asked you before to tell me what you did, and you wouldn't tell me. Now you say you only pushed him.
Well, you're doing just like you did before. You won't let me talk to you.
Because I don't believe a word you say.
You better get out of here, Ben. Unless you're going to kill him now, too.
I'm not going anywhere. Not till you pick up that phone and call the hospital. There's a good chance Steve will be all right.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. You got a choice, Mr. Atkins. You call that hospital, or you use that on me.
Operator, get me to the hospital.
I'm sorry, the doctor cannot talk right now, operator. I see. Doctor. Doctor, the operator says it's Mr. Adkins. He insists on talking to you.
This is Dr. Arliss. Put him on. Yes, Mr. Atkins?
Tell me, how's my boy?
Just a minute, Miss Atkins. Hold on.
Doctor.
Hello? Hello?
Roy? He just woke up. Just a minute ago.
Yeah? Did the doctor say he's going to be all right? Well, ask him, woman. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, I understand. Yeah. Right, I will. Steve just woke up. The doctor says it looks like he'll make it. Joe? I'll see you.
Steve is alive back there because of you. Roy's wife said it was because of the blood you gave him. That got anything to do with why you're on the run?
Believe me, Joe, the less you know about it, the better it is. Oh, what's going to happen with Carol and Steve?
I don't know. She's too old to spank, and I'm much too old to try anymore. You know what? You just can't keep up with these kids today.
I know what you mean. Well, I better get going if I'm going to catch that bus.
Bus? You're not taking no bus. You're taking this.
Oh, Joe, I can't...
Come on. I had enough of your lip for the last 24 hours. Now, she don't look like much, but she got hemi heads and double quads, and she'll do 115 if necessary. Now, come on, get in.
I really like you.
The pink slip is already in the glove compartment, and I've got it already made out for you. Now, come on, get in.
Thanks.
You'll come back soon, you hear?
I'll come back soon.
All right, get in there. Give it to her the way I taught you. Right, let her rip. Hey, what are you gonna do? Run right in and run right out again?
I haven't got a lot of time, Joe. I've got to find Jason. If Jason's got the same kind of blood I have, maybe the two of us can figure out what to do about it. I can't seem to handle it alone.
I can't talk you into staying.
I guess not, Joe. Not till it's all over. Listen, go on back to your game, and Joe, keep on your toes. Because when I come back, I'm gonna clean you out.